أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق، ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على أول الخلق والعدد، سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الأئمة المعصومين المنتجبين، ولا سيما حجة الله في الأراضين، روحي وأرواح المؤمنين لتراب مقدمه الفداء. أما بعد، فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم: من مات ولم يعرف إمام زمانه مات ميتة جاهلية. Existence in its whole is based on a pyramid of ma'rifah. The top of that pyramid is the ma'rifah of Allah, is the understanding of Allah. The second part of that pyramid is the ma'rifah of the Imam alayhi salam, and the third is the ma'rifah of the nafs, which is the self. And the key between the ma'rifah of Allah and the ma'rifah of yourself is that you understand the Imam alayhi salam, the Imam of your time. A person approaches our Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam and he asks him, Ma ma'rifatullah yabna Rasulillah? What is the understanding of Allah, O son of Rasulullah? Now you'd expect that the Imam would say to understand Tawheed, or to say, he's wahdahu la sharika la, he's the only one who should be worshipped, and so on and so forth. The Imam says to him, ma'rifati kulli zamanin imamahum tajibu alayhim ta'atuh. It is for the people of every time to know who their Imam is, and that his ta'at, his obedience is wajib upon them. Only then will you understand Allah. So it is by understanding the Imam alayhi salam will you understand Allah, which is also shown in one of the du'as of our Imam, fourth Imam alayhi salam, Imam Sajjad. He says it is highly recommended to read this du'a after wajib salah. Very brief, but the advantages of this, the benefits of this is way much more. What does the Imam say? He says to Allah, Allahumma arifni nafsaka, فإنك إن لم تعرفني نفسك لم أعرف نبيك. اللهم عرفني نبيك فإنك إن لم تعرفني نبيك لم أعرف حجتك. اللهم عرفني حجتك فإنك إن لم تعرفني حجتك ضللت عن ديني. So look how the Imam linked from the ma'rifah of Allah to someone who is misguided. What does he say? Oh Allah, grant me your understanding, for if I do not understand you, I won't understand your Prophet. And grant me the understanding of your Prophet, for if I do not understand your Prophet, I won't understand your divine leader, Hujjatak. And if I do not understand your divine leader, the Hujjah, what would happen? I will be misguided from your religion. So the key is to understand the Imam alayhi salam, the Imam of your time. Hence, if you go back to the beginning of the lecture, the narration by Rasulullah, is من مات ولم يعرف إمام زمانه مات ميتة جاهلية. Whoever dies without the understanding, without the recognition of the Imam of his time, dies the death of an ignorant. So it doesn't matter whatever degrees they have, how many degrees they have. Rasulullah puts everything on the side. If you do not understand the Imam alayhi salam, then you're an ignorant. And if you see throughout history, for the past 1400 years, many ulama have come from any mazahib, from any religion, and sometimes they're atheists, but if they do not have the understanding of the Imam alayhi salam, then the death is the death of a jahil. Why? Because the purpose of their life was not understood. Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam, look how beautifully he provokes the thought of a person and summarizes the purpose of the place you came from, the place you're in, and the place you're going to. What does he say? رَحِمَ اللَّهُ امْرِئًا عَرِفَ مِنْ أَيْنَ وَفِي أَيْنَ وَإِلَى أَيْنَ. May Allah have mercy on the individual who understands where did he come from, what is the purpose of his living, and where is he heading to. Very simple. He is provoking the thought of a mu'min, of any person in fact. If you want to understand, then see where did you come from. You were born here, but were you created here? We were created years ago, thousands of years ago. We are here for a purpose. What is that purpose? Why am I here? Am I just here to eat, drink, have fun, and then go? Where am I heading to? That's the infinite word, khalidin fiha. Whether I choose whether I am khalidin, which is permanently in heaven or hell, that's up to me. So if I understand where am I heading to, we'll always, as human beings, in our nature, we want our place to be the best of places. So if I understand where I'm heading to, my present has to change. And that will only change through the ma'rifah of the Imam, and through that I understand myself. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam says, Man arifa nafsah faqad arifa rabbah. So see how all of these ma'rifah, they're all linked to one another. Whoever wants to understand himself, or whoever understands himself, he has understood Allah. So Allah, the Imam, and yourself. Once you understand all these, you have attained the reason why you're here. You have reached that goal. But now to understand that, like I said, it goes back to the Imam alayhi salam. How much of the Imam do I know? How much of him do I know? Is it fine that, for example, speaking of our Imam alayhi salam, he is Imam al-Mahdi, his father is al-Askari, his mother is Narjis, he was born in Samarra, his occultation lasted 4 days. Second occultation, that's general knowledge of the Imam. The ma'rifah is such that I have connection with the Imam alayhi salam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam says, أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْيَتِيمِ يُتْمَى. If I was to tell you there's an orphan who had lost his parents and he has no family, you would feel sorry for him. You would try to help him as much as possible. Why? Because he has no one to take care of him. Rasulullah says, أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْيَتِيمِ يُتْمَى. Someone who is worse than the case of a yatim is the one who man inqata'a an imam zamanih, who cuts his ties off from the Imam of time. If you have no tie with the Imam alayhi salam, you can feel sorry as much as you want to the orphan. Allah and the Handmaid feel more sorry for you. And that's the fact. Why? Because there's no connection with the Imam alayhi salam. And this connection, again, if you were to read history, which Quran reminds us of the history, when Allah speaks of the people of Musa alayhi salam, which they are the most mentioned nation in the Quran, and he is the most mentioned prophet, it's not because Allah wants you to know the stories of Fir'aun, the stories of Musa, the stories of Ibrahim. He is teaching you a lesson. Like Imam Ali alayhi salam says, Ma akthar al-ibar wa aqall al-i'tibar. Lessons to learn from, there are many, but the learners are few.
Ahsant.
If you look at the Quran, it's full of these lessons. People read it, oh okay, it was a nice story, how he was saved, mashallah. How did Allah control, the cradle of Musa between the river to drop it to Fir'aun, mashallah. Okay, But what do I gain from that? What did I get from that? The ma'rifah of Allah through the Book of Allah. The ma'rifah of the Imam through the Book of Allah. The only key to all this is, again, falls down to the ma'rifah of Imam. And if there's nothing more in our day and life now, that would lead you to understanding your Imam than ziyarah Jami'a Kabira. Think to yourself, have you ever heard of this ziyarah before? How many times have you read this ziyarah? In fact, every time you go to ziyarah of any Ma'soom, it is highly recommended, if you were to read Al-Mafatih Al-Janan, to read this ziyarah. You know, there's ziyarah Aminullah when you go to Amir al-Mu'mineen, there's ziyarah Warith when you go to Imam al-Hussein, there's ziyarah of Kadhimain, ziyarah of the Askariyain in Samarra. But have you ever read ziyarah Jami'a Kabira to any Ma'soom? In fact, it's so powerful. We have in our books that one of the ulama, whenever he wanted to meet the Imam of time, he would just read Ziyarah Jami'a Kabira and the Imam would come to him. He read it with ma'rifah. He was at that level where he was so close to the Imam. Whenever he wanted to see him, he would read Ziyarah Jami'a Kabira. Why? Because of the sentences, the statements that the Imam said in it. For example, if you want to understand Ahlul Bayt, read this line. And many lines like this in Ziyarah Jami'a Kabira. I just chose 3. As-salamu ala mahalli ma'rifatillah. Peace be upon the places where Allah's ma'rifah is gained from. This is the place. Now, if you, for example, many of you, alhamdulillah, you're all educated. When you go to high school, college, university, what do? If you want a subject, you go to a special place and you apply there to gain that knowledge. Likewise, if you want to understand Allah, there's a place you have to go through, and that's the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. It's no brainer. I want to understand Allah, I have to go through the gate of Ali Ibn Abi Taleb. أنا مدينة العلم وعلي بابها فمن أراد المدينة فليأتها من بابها. Common sense. I am the city of knowledge and Ali is its gate, and whosoever wants to enter the city will go from where? The gate. Ali Ibn Abi Talib is the gate. If you were to see example of nowadays, let's not go far away, people who try to understand Allah through someone other than Ali Ibn Abi Talib. Look at that. They quote it in their books. Precisely, I think it's Bukhari. And when it says Hal min mazid, Allah puts his foot in hell, and hell would say, I am full right now. This is the tawheed of someone who did not go through Ali ibn Abi Talib. Come to Ali ibn Abi Talib and read the first lecture he gave about Allah, about the tawheed of Allah in Najr Balagha. Even ulama cannot understand it. Mujtahideen who spent 50 to 60 years of their life cannot understand the way he praised Allah. In fact, they have reached to this point, people, that the ulama, when they sat down, when they read the first khutbah of Imam Ali alayhi salam, keeping in mind he read it when? 1400 years ago. So there's no technology, no science, no that would tell you how long we've been here, where did we come from. They came to 2 conclusions. Either Ali ibn Abi Talib created everything, that's why he knows so much, or he was present when Allah was creating everything. And of course, it's the second option. أول ما خلق الله نوري. The Prophet says, the first thing that Allah created was my nur. And from that nur, then Ali ibn Abi Talib's nur, Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam nur. That nur was there when everything else was created. So the more ma'rifah I have of Allah, the more ma'rifah I have of the Imam, the more I would understand the purpose of my living here. And especially those people who are Naqvi now, it should be fresh in your mind. When you go to the ziyarah of Abdullah al-Husayni, you know those banners you have on the side of the haram? It would say, Man zara al-Husayn arifan bihaqqih. It doesn't just tell you, Man zara al-Husayn wajabat lahu jannah. Whoever visits Husayn, Jannah is wajib upon him. In that case, mashallah, millions of people visit him. Assalamu alaikum ya Abu Abdullah, Allah will make them enter heaven. It says, arifan bihaqqih. So there is the ma'rifah of the Imam number 1. Number two is the ma'rifah of the haqq of the Imam. Yes, I know Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is a divine leader. He is the son of Ali Ibn Abi Taleb, the son of Rasulullah, the son of Fatima. Fair enough. I know who he is. But what is the haqq of that Imam only? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that the haqq of Imam al-Hussein on every mu'min that he visits him at least once a year. If you can, that's the least of the haqq of Imam al-Hussein. Why? Let's think about it. If it wasn't for Hussein, would we be Muslims now? Would we be Shias now? Would we be someone who has any idea of what Allah is, what Islam is? If we are humans or trying to reach the level of insan, it is because of the sacrifice of Abdullah al-Hussein. If it wasn't for that, you know how Yazid lived, you know how Amr ibn Sa'd lived, how Shumar lived, and what Islam were they preaching. So, arifan bihaqqih, know that you understand who this man is. For example, I go to the ziyarah, I know one of the lines of the ziyarah, what do you say to Allah? أَأَدْخُلُ يَا Allah, أَأَدْخُلُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ, أَأَدْخُلُ يَا أَبَا عَبْدِ اللَّهِ, or يَا وَلِيَ اللَّهِ. Whichever ma'soom you go to, what do you say? Oh Allah, can I enter this place? Oh Rasulullah, can I enter this place? Oh, the wali of Allah, again, whichever infallible you go to visit, can I enter this place? You're already there, so what are you talking about? Is this the physical part or the spiritual part we're talking about? You're not just entering a place, Assalamu alaikum wa abdillah. You want to enter the spiritual part of the ziyarah of the Imam alayhi salam. Not just go there physically and kiss a shrine which is there physically, as materialistic. No. When you go there, if you think about it again with ma'rifah, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein is sat there welcoming his people. It's not someone, ma'adallah, he's dead, they're just going to pay salutations and that's it. No. Abu Abdullah, he knows you. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, now keep this multiplied by millions of people who visit him. For example, they have Arba'in. Imam Sadiq says, when you go to Abu Abdullah, know that he knows who you are, he knows your father's name, and he knows your position before Allah more than you know. Now that's only one person. Imagine those millions of people who flock to Imam Hussein. He knows each one of them. So this man who's sitting there, it's not just, ma'adallah, a dead body. No, he's there welcoming people. You want to ask me something? I know your haja before you even ask me. You want to ask me your haja? I've given it to you before you even ask me. So this is the Imam alayhi salam. This is the level of Imam before Allah. The more ma'rifah I have, the more my ziyarah is accepted, and this ziyarah could be the reason I enter heaven. Why? Because of the ma'rifah of the Imam alayhi salam. The more ma'rifah. Now, if you see the ma'rifah, for example, of Salman, the ma'rifah of Abu Dhar, the ma'rifah of Miqdad, the ma'rifah of those people who were in Karbala, for example. How many? They were from 6 months old up to 90 years old. Okay? Like it's a full university. Whichever you go to, they will teach you of the level of, they will teach you the love of Hussein alayhi salam, which was, let's say, the love of the Imam of time. Since our Imam of time is Imam al-Mahdi, let's learn from them. Why is it that Abbas, who happens to be 33 years old, many of us have even passed that age, or we are approaching that age now, 33 years old becomes the best martyr after Abu Abdullah. Why? Why not, for example, Habib, which is a faqih by the eyes of Imam al-Hussein? Why not, for example, Muslim ibn Awsaja? Why not John? Why is it Abbas? Because of the ma'rifah he had and because of the basira he had. No one had the ma'rifah of Abbas on the day of Ashura like he did of the Imam alayhi salam. So much so, why? If you look again on the night of Ashura, the Imam, what does he tell them? It is night time now. These people want me. They have nothing to do with you. You can leave. The first one to speak, who was it? Abbas alayhi salam. He says to him that you want us to leave, O Abu Abdullah? There is no life without your presence, O Abu Abdullah Hussein. Ma'rifah. Because what is the taste of life if there is no Imam? What am I going to do? Nothing. And it wasn't wajib upon them, by the way. When the Imam alayhi salam gave them this permission, it was, they could have gone and Jannah still wajib on them. Because the Imam did, which is like tasqeet al-jihad, which means your jihad is not wajib anymore. The Imam alayhi salam has given you the permission. They all stayed one by one. They did not move. Ma'rifah kept them there, and basira, which means the foresight. They were looking ahead. If I was to leave the Imam alayhi salam, what am I going to do? Go back home, tell them, oh, this is what happened in Karbala, this is what we have to do, we have to follow the Imam? No. Rather, one of the companions' names was Burayr and Muslim. They were both there. Now, Burayr was at the age of 70. Imagine, on the day of Ashur, knowing that he would die the next day, he was making Muslim laugh. He would say things that would make Muslim laugh. Muslim says to him, oh Burayr, you're 70 years old, you're a leader of a tribe. On the night of Ashur, you're making jokes. He says to him, if you ask my tribe, I am not someone who makes jokes. But why am I saying it now? Why am I so happy? Because I would lay myself down before Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. I'm giving myself. This is the purpose of my living. I'm going to deliver it tomorrow. And you know what is much better? He says to him, what is it? He goes, that we will stand outside the door of paradise welcoming Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Ma'rifah. These people are not chosen, oh, okay, you come along, and let's fight. They were there for a reason, because they worked for it throughout their life. Likewise, in our day and time now, let's say our Imam alayhi salam is in occultation. Does that mean I can do nothing? Can I not play any part? Our teacher, may Allah give him long life, many of us were taught by him, Mr. Hussein Sharif, he always used to tell me that your Imam wants you to be the best in your field. Whatever field you choose, the Imam wants you the best in it. Doesn't matter. But what do? You have to be truthful. You have to be sincere in what you do. Everything you do in life, every day, involve the Imam in it. For example, before let's say I go to gym, which is very something simple, anyone could do. When I start, I can say, for example, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. I'm involving Ahlul Bayt in something that I do, because why? Taking care of your own self or your health is something good, and they actually recommended it. Before I eat, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and I eat because from the rizq that Allah has given me through Muhammad wa al Muhammad. If I do salah, before you start salah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, after you finish salah. Before you read Quran, when you finish Quran, you give that hadiyah to whom? The Imam alayhi salam. The Imam will be very happy of this. You pray for the Imam alayhi salam. You give sadaqah for the Imam. This way, before you know it, 1, 2 months, 3 months, you're so connected with this man. Actually, you want to start your day with his remembrance. You want to finish your day with his remembrance. When you have that connection, it's not just ma'rifah now. You want to take it to the next level. What is it that I can do to help my Imam of time? It doesn't have to be something religious. For example, just holding a majlis in your house that you call people around, they benefit, you benefit. This is something you're doing it for the sake of the Imam alayhi salam. Giving people time, for example, to discuss something, to whether be it on working on their academic level or their spiritual level, religiously, anything that you would discuss with them to help them strive or become better, develop their skills. The Imam likes this. In fact, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, whenever he would see the Shias, wherever they're sitting, as long as they were not doing something against the will of Allah, he would pray, oh Allah, increase the Shias and make them in every corner of the world. And whenever he would see the enemies of Ahlul Bayt, he would say, oh Allah, make these people limited and keep them where they are. So if you can benefit anyone for the sake of the Imam alayhi salam, do it. That's the ma'rifah. It's not like rocket science. It's so hard, you have to do this, you have to do that. No. Ma'rifah of the Imam alayhi salam is such that I can do something that would make him happy of me. It's not very hard. Something that I could do daily, I involve my Imam alayhi salam in it. I involve my Imam in everything I do. I talk, I say no, Allah is watching me, the Imam is listening to me. So I speak good company, which the Imam is not happy with. What do? I prevent. I leave that company. In fact, so much so that depends on what level you are in life now. If you are in high school, college, uni, you might come to a point where you have no one. Does that mean that I can take any company? No. Rasulullah says that having no company is better than bad company. You know, bad company, the effect of bad company on your own self, something, or sometimes we do not focus on it, we do not realize it, but down the line, it changes a lot inside you, and that will affect your character later on. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, قُلْ لِمَنْ تُعَاشِرْ أَقُلْ لَكَ مَنْ أَنْتَ. Don't tell me about yourself. I don't want to know you. Just tell me who you hang with. I will tell you who you are. Why? Because every person chooses friends just like he is. You wouldn't choose bad friend if you're a good person, and vice versa. If there's someone bad, he will choose someone. He wouldn't choose someone good. Why? Because they will always tell him off. We should not do this. We should not do that. We should not go to that place. But if he chooses someone like him, oh yeah, let's do this. Come on, it's fine. Then we can, for example, do tawbah, Allah will forgive, or let's go on, ziyarah, let's do majlis. These kind of things, shaitan gives you these. Don't think shaitan will always tell you to do something bad. Shaitan will even sometimes tell you to do something good, but before he tells you that, he tells you, do something bad so you can do something good so Allah forgives you. And then gradually, he takes you away from what you should do. And there is no enemy to the Imam like shaitan. If you go back to the beginning of the creation, so the moment you start thinking of the marifah of the Imam, shaitan would come. Why? What was the main reason for him not doing sujood to Adam? He had no problem with Adam alayhi salam. His problem was that he knew that Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad would be from the lineage of this man. So what fell? Hassan. Why is it that these, the best of creation, which I was created because of them, why do they have to go from him? And he did what he did. The problem was that of these people, these 14 individuals, Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. So the moment you think you want to do something, he will be there for you. The marifah of the Imam alayhi salam, the connection with the Imam alayhi salam, that could happen daily basis. Connect with the Imam alayhi salam, do something for him. If you don't have money, 1 pence the Imam would appreciate every day. Again, this is something that my teacher would tell me. Something continuous is better than something one-off. So for example, if I was to give 1 pence or 2 pence every day for a year, how much would that be? 6-7 pounds. Rather, what do? I put 100 pounds in sadaqah once a year. That 2 pence every day is better than 100 pounds. Why? Because it's something consecutive, continuous, that has an effect on your own self. Reading the Quran in Ramadan once because you want to finish it is different than reading 2 verses of Quran every day. And this is better than just reading the Quran. Why? The connection is there. Allah could have told you, just read Salah, end of the night before you go. Why did He divide it 5 times a day? Right? He could have told you, just do it, qada, and I accept it, I appreciate what you're going through. But when it comes to that, we say, no, I can do it 5 times. I can do 5 salah in one go. But when the doctor tells me, no, Muhammad, if you're ill, you have to take 1 pill at 9 a.m., 1 pill at 6 p.m., and the other one before you sleep, I follow that as he says to me, right? But when it comes to Allah, I question, why Fajr? I'm so tired. Why Dhuhr in the middle of the day? Why Maghrib just before I sleep? So here we question, but the doctor, we don't question. Someone who is fallible, we follow him. Someone who knows what I am, how should I be, how should I behave, we question it there. That's the problem. And I end with this. If you ever ask yourself, Salman Muhammadi, why did he reach that level? They asked him, why? Why do you think? What did he reply? He said, whenever the Prophet would tell me something, I would follow it without questioning it. Why? Because they know and I do not know. Once we do that with Allah, with the Quran, with Ahlul Bayt, our life will change. They said this, okay, I will do this. Okay, it's good to understand why have they said this, but don't question. I would look for alternatives. Maybe I can do this. Maybe don't look for a shortcut in what Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam have ordered you. Follow it as it is. Before you know it, you will attain a level, and you might even reach a level that no one around you can help you. Then Allah would intervene and He would send you someone you have never expected. Allah will always intervene when He sees that this person is willing to come to me. When you have that, Allah will take care of everything else. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar. Inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar.
So just a quick question. What do you have to say, or what the Ahlul Bayt would have to say on, I think it's a personal question actually, but because a lot of people would relate, and this question will be online if you don't mind me putting it online. We have this illness in the community and society, especially Asian culture, where perfectionism have to be involved in upbringing the children. So if you don't do something to the perfect level, I don't want you to do it, on parents, for example. And that affects not only educational status with our community, but also religious. So when I try to pray, if I don't pray 5 times a day, I don't want to do it, because that's the way that I've been risen up by parents, to do it, always to be perfect. What does Ahlul Bayt say? What do the Ahlul Bayt say about trying to pray, even if you try to pray once as an attempt to get close to God?
Okay. If you were here 2 weeks ago, I remember telling you about how to do the purifying of yourself. The second stage was to repent from the bad deeds that you have done in the past. A man comes to Imam Ali alayhi salam, which would answer this. He tells him, every time I repent, I go back to that same sin. Every time I repent, I go back to that same sin. And that has been going on for a while now. I think I should leave tawbah. I should leave repenting. What did the Imam tell him? Imam tells him, tub, thumma tub, hatta yurgham anfu shaytan. Keep repenting, keep repenting, keep repenting until shaitan leaves you. So when it comes to salah, if you have that thought, okay, I either perfect it or I leave it, that's shaitan telling you this. Sometimes you can't read it on time, don't leave it. Keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. If you actually want to read it on time, Allah will give you the tawfiq. Allah might give you a job that would help you, that will basically will be tailored around you, not you tailored around that job. So whatever fits you to reach Him, it will be for you. But provided that you go through that road sincerely, that there are people, for example, when it reaches namaz time, they would leave everything. They wouldn't care. Allah says in the Quran, رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِيهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا لَهْوٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Why? Why? Because يَخَافُونَ, there are men, Allah calls them men, and this is what ulama say, the real man is someone who obeys Allah. If someone doesn't obey Allah, it's not considered a man. People can call him a man as much as he wants, but if he doesn't obey Allah, he's not a man. What does Allah say about them? No lahu, which means something that would keep him busy from the remembrance of Allah. That's called lahu. Tijara means business. Let's say business, job, work, whatever. Nothing keeps them away from remembering Allah. If you reach that level, Allah will, like I said, Allah will tailor life around you, not you around life. So, don't think if you cannot perfect it now, don't give it up. Even if, like I said, if you have to, for example, I missed Fajr, Dhuhr and Asr, it doesn't mean I don't read it at the end of the night. Read it. Because they accumulate, they add up. One point shaitan will come to you and tell you, you have so many. Come on, might as well leave one, it doesn't matter. And you'll be like, okay. It will make it look easy. But if you have no qada, then making one qada is really hard. Why should I add? So keep trying, Allah will help you.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
I've got a second question, and that kind of relates to the point you were mentioning in the end. in our religion, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala repeatedly says in Quran that do they not think, do they not ponder? I feel like in our community, alhamdulillah it's changing, but in our community a lot of times we, force people to do things. For example, people would force their children to pray, and there's no like ground for rational thinking that a child come to that conclusions naturally, or if they are given the freedom nowadays, as things are changing, if they're given a freedom of thinking, they're given a conclusion, and then they are told, oh, you have to reach this conclusion, rather than go yourself and think about it and then reach your conclusion. So how would you balance that with what you just mentioned about, with the sayings of the imams, and you basically going through a rational thinking of, and then reaching the conclusion, and also balancing it out rather than someone forcing it upon you?
How? Sorry, I didn't get the question. How can you balance the narrations from Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam to how you live your life?
So it could be, starting from Ahlul Bayt, so even like fiqh, a lot of fiqh comes from the narrations of Ahlul Bayt. A lot of times, I agree, one cannot question a knowledgeable person who has done research for like 30, 40 years in that area. But then how would you balance the other? You don't, the rulings don't get imposed on you, and then you also, what would be the way of thinking?
To stop you there, can you not question someone who is 40 years old? 40 years in the field of knowledge? You can. In fact, you should.
Yeah.
And this is something Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam recommended. But you do not question a ma'soom. A ma'soom should not be questioned. Why? Ma'soom basically no mistake, no sin, he doesn't forget. But when it comes to a fallible like you and I, no, you have to question them. For example, sit down with any mujtahid, any alim. How did you reach to this conclusion? They have to tell you how. Through their books, through online, through a majlis, they have to tell you this. Only a ma'soom cannot be questioned. Allah cannot, or Quran cannot be questioned. They have to be understood. But people like you and I, even if they have spent 100 years in Islam and they might be the biggest mujtahid ever, you can sit down and question them. That's actually recommended. You have to do it. If you are in doubt, tell them, sorry, I don't understand. And they have to explain it to them.
السلام